If you clicked on this video, you're about to see the review of a shoe that is so different compared to everything else on the market and compared to everything else Brooks has. Let's check the Brooks Glycerin Max. Hey everyone and welcome back on the channel. My name is Alex. In today's video we have the review of the Brooks Glycerin Max. This shoe was secretly with us for a few weeks. Many of us tested it here at Meta Endurance. There's an article already on the website and it's in the description of this video if you want to read it. It's a secret that Brooks held really well, and I think it's hard to keep a secret this huge because yes, this is a beast of a shoe. And without no further ado, let's go into the specs. We have 45 millimeters of stack height in the heel, making it the highest stack ever for Brooks shoes. If I'm not mistaken, 39 millimeters in the forefoot, 6 millimeters drop. This comes at 296 grams for a size US 9. This is the sample size. My US 11 weighs 333 grams. Making it a heavier shoe, obviously, but when you think of all the stack height that you have and all the plushness that you have also with this shoe, pretty much everywhere, to some extent, the weight remains reasonable. And it does feel heavy when you run with it, but again, it's not meant to be lightweight. It's not meant to be any fast or super responsive as a race day shoe. So to a certain extent, I do not mind the weight. Let's look at the upper in more details. As you can see, the proportions of this shoe are quite special. You have almost 2/3 of midsole height here on the lateral side, but also on the medial side it's the same, and then 1/3 of upper. There are some sidewalls that kind of trump a bit your vision and your sensations when looking at the shoe. However, the upper is super plush, super padded. It's actually really thick. It's not super breathable, but it's gonna provide you with lots of comfort. Like for many Brooks shoes, the fit of this shoe is really excellent. It's a true to size fit. I enjoy the plushness of the upper. I enjoy the tongue that stays in place quite nicely. The heel lockdown is also good for me. And overall, I must say that I'm feeling very good in this upper, and I haven't encountered any issues. Some of our testers at Meta Endurance did find a couple of issues about this upper, nothing deal breaking, and it seems to be more individual issues with them and they're running in this shoe rather than general issues that many people will encounter. But if you're interested, you can just read the article on metaendurance.com and you will figure out what specifically they encountered. Looking at the midsole of this shoe, and this is where everything is happening, you have a new midsole compound by Brooks, DNA tuned. This is again one of these supercritical midsoles with a dual density meant to provide you with that sort of cradle on the outside. It's the white part, and then the yellow part that you can guess here is a bit softer, a bit more responsive. And overall, we have that comfort protection coming from the outer layer of midsole, and then you have that dynamic responsive feel coming from the insert. Both with the same compound but cooked a bit differently to create two different sensations. How does it ride and how does it compare to the regular glycerin? Because I think this is going to be one of the key questions we might have. This is an all-terrain ride. You can put this shoe on, you will have almost zero ground feel, but it will take you pretty much anywhere on any surface, any type of run to a certain extent as well, with a caveat being that this shoe is not meant for faster paces, and obviously it will be limited around that tempo pace, at least based on my testing. It has a sweet spot around that easy up to endurance pace. I think endurance is where I see it shine most. The weight being an issue, so for some people, it will be more of an easy shoe, but that's pretty much where it shines. And it's a shoe that, again, is an all-terrain shoe that kind of runs for you, whereas the Glycerin 21, the regular Glycerin, requires you to work a bit more, to have a bit more agility also in your foot positioning, to work more with your foot muscles, and to stay, let's say, a bit more active. This is a shoe that you can use for runs where you go out and you're still asleep. It will just run for you, it will take you out at a reasonable pace. And I think the responsive insert that Brooks has tried to create within this shoe, so the yellow layer here, really does work, and it creates that poppy feel without being aggressive, without being too energetic, and without requiring you to work too hard. It's definitely a shoe that, again, will suit people who are looking for that training companion that can log miles without requiring too much effort. And obviously you're still running and you're still working. This shoe is taking you by the hand and taking you for runs that you probably would work harder on with some other shoes. And this one is kind of doing some of the work for you, if that makes sense. It's actually quite soft. I was surprised by the softness of this midsole. It's also quite stiff, and this is something that will also help to remove some of that footwork. Because of that stiffness, it's almost as if it was plated. It is not plated, but that stiffness, that rigidity, not so much torsion, makes it quite inherently stable. The width of the midsole also makes it quite stable. It's definitely a recommendation for people who are pronating a bit too much. They can go with the shoe despite the stag height in the heel. No issues whatsoever. It's a stable ride, both in the heel and in the forefoot. And it's stable, but it's also quite soft and quite enjoyable with that light plushness that it offers. So good job, Brooks, here, because there aren't that many options on the market that provide you with the same characteristics. Looking at the outsole, it is decently covered, but not too much. However, where it's covered, I think it's strategic, and the thickness of the coverage in the areas where it's covered is actually really, really thick. I don't see any signs of wear. I just see some small rocks that's entered the outsole pattern like here, but I do expect a really, really good durability based on what I see here after almost 50 kilometers in this shoe. Price point 200 euros. I think it's kind of bang on. 190 would have been even better. 180 would have been a dream for this shoe, but 200 is actually reasonable for what you get. Some of the shoes this shoe is competing against are in that 180 up to 230 ballpark, so it's right in the middle. Obviously, it's a lot of money, but I think you also get a lot of running out of a product like this one. It will release in limited quantities in October, and then you will have a general release early in 2025. So if you have 200 euros burning your pocket, you can just spend them on this shoe. I do recommend you to try it out. It's definitely worth giving it a shot. Let us know in the comments if you have any questions. I will do my best to answer as many of them as I can. Go also check the website. There's a written review over there. And most importantly, let me know which shoe you would like me to compare this against. I think we are due for a Glycerin 21, Brooks Glycerin Max, Brooks Ghost 16, and Brooks Ghost Max comparisons of 4 shoes of the Brooks range. Let me know if you approve that idea for a comparison, and if so, we shall do it here on the channel. Thanks all for watching. Let's link to the review of the Brooks Glycerin 21. I think it makes sense. Enjoy your run today, enjoy your ride, go beyond your limits, and I shall see you in the next one.